If you want to pass the Network Plus, you're going to have to learn about a lot of different types of networking utilities. Now, CompTIA works hard to concentrate on networking utilities that are built into operating systems. For example, ping. I don't care if you're running a Mac or a PC, you just run ping. However, there is one big exception on the Network Plus, and that is the incredibly popular, totally free, incredibly powerful Wireshark. Wireshark is a protocol analyzer. It looks literally at every frame coming in and out of the system and allows you to look at them and make decisions and determine what's going on in your system. So let's take a look at Wireshark. Now, this is Wireshark by default. I've just installed it onto my Windows 8 system. And this is the interface you get when you open the guy up. So the idea behind Wireshark is that we're going to begin capturing data, and then we're going to look at that data. So we do this all the time in the networking world. It's extremely useful. So let's go ahead and get started. So to do a capture, all you have to do is you click on Capture, and we have to pick an interface. I have a lot of network cards on this system. So right now it's preset to my wired Ethernet card. There's a gigabit Ethernet card. And I'm just going to hit Start. Now here's a little bit of traffic, but in order to really get some traffic going, I'm going to get a web browser going. Let's check out Cheese. Cheese.com. You understand the reason I'm doing this is I want to get some activity going on the network for Wireshark to capture. Whoop, there's some traffic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop the capture. Okay, now let me go ahead and make this full screen so you can see it all. Now, when you're running Wireshark, you need to appreciate that you have three pieces of the interface. The top piece shows every individual frame coming in and out of your system. The middle one is details on that particular frame that you have highlighted. Whatever frame you particularly want to choose, you'll get the details. And the lower one is in the raw binary format. And we don't use that one too often because, well, I don't read binary that well. So what I want to do is let's take a look and let's see what's going on this computer. Now keep in mind I opened up a web page. So what we're seeing here is a whole bunch of a web page coming in. So here's a part of it. It's trying to get one particular JPEG. So I'm loading that. I'm sure it's coming from that cheese.com that I looked at, and it's trying to load this one particular JPEG, and all of these underneath it are as the JPEG is coming in. So let's take a look at this one right here. So this is what's known as a GET command. The client is getting a particular JPEG called 3.jpg. Now what makes Wireshark really cool is this part right here, because you can literally strip it apart based on the OSI model. It works with the TCP/IP model too, but better with the OSI. So let me show you what I mean. First of all, at this top piece, this is Wireshark's stuff on this. So if I open that plus sign up, this is stuff that Wireshark picks up, and it's keeping track what number of frame has come in, that type of thing. But we can really start right here, and you can see this is layer 2 of the OSI. And if we open this up, well, even if we keep it closed for a minute, we'll see it's Ethernet, which is layer 2. And here's the MAC address where it's coming from and the MAC address where it's going to. Do you see that right there? And it's sending it out to my Cisco router. I just happen to know the MAC address of my router. And I can open this up and get a little bit more detail. And it'll tell me things like, here's the destination, the source, and it also says, and this is part of what Ethernet does, Ethernet says what type of information is it hauling. So that's layer 2 of the OSI. And then we can go right just down. We're literally stripping away. We can strip off the frame now and take a look at the IP information. So here's my IP stuff. So somewhere in here better be some IP addresses. Let me scroll down. There they are. So you can actually see the IP addresses. This is my source IP address, my computer, and here's my destination, which is almost certainly the IP address for cheese.com. I don't know for sure. It doesn't have to be, but it probably is. So now that's all my IP information. Let me close this up. And now it's down to TCP. So here's my transport level stuff. And I can actually come in here, and there's my destination port, and there's my source port, all the stuff we'd expect to be seen within a TCP header. There's sequencing numbers, all that kind of stuff, all that complicated ACK stuff. And then we can minimize this, and then we can actually look at the application itself. And in this case, we can see what's happening at the application. It's getting a JPEG from cheese.com and all the information in terms of what type of image it is and all that type of thing is all stored in there. Now that we understand the basics of the Wireshark interface, what I want to do is actually, let's put it to use doing something. So what I thought might be fun is that we would actually capture the entire DHCP transaction. So I took my machine and I got rid of the IP address. I did an ipconfig release, so I have no IP address on this system. I go ahead and I start up Wireshark, so I get the capture going. Then I go to a command prompt and I just typed ipconfig/renew to get my IP address back. So hopefully we'll watch the entire DHCP process. Oh boy, there's a lot of data here. So, all right, so here's all my data, and I've just stopped it. And as you can see, I've got, you can actually count the frames over here, so I've got what? And just a few seconds, I've got over 1,100 frames. Now, somewhere in here is the DHCP information. Now, one of the nice things about Wireshark is you have this filter tool, and it's critical. You got to learn how to use this. The secret to using the filter is you just type in what you want to filter by. Now, if you take a look up there, you'll see that it's in red. That's because it doesn't like that particular filter. So there's a couple little quirks with Wireshark. One of them being, if you want to look at DHCP information, you have to use the term bootp, the alternative name for DHCP. So you see I've typed in bootp and now it's green. That means it likes this filter. So I'm going to hit enter. And you'll see what's happened here. It's filtered out everything but my DHCP stuff. So let's take a look at this real close. This is actually really cool because we can see DHCP in action. So if you watched earlier episodes, you know that DHCP is a 4-step process. So the first one here is DHCP discover, which means my computer is out there yelling. Now remember, it's trying to get an IP address. So you see it's all zeros and it's sending it to a broadcast. Well, that's what it's supposed to do. So it's sending out a broadcast. Now it gets a response back from a DHCP server, which just happens to be my router, and it is offering DHCP information. So we can actually go into this particular frame and we can see what it's offering. So you can see that it's offering an IP address of 202.13.212.102. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Here, this is a IP config I ran earlier. You can see I got 202.13.212.102. But keep in mind, this is only the second step in a DHCP process, so we haven't really got it yet. So my computer responds back, knows it's still got all zeros, and it's saying, okay, yeah, now that I know you're out there, I'm going to take this, and then the router responds back, still on a broadcast, saying, okay, man, I'm putting you on the list. Now, this is just the most basic beginnings to Wireshark. Wireshark is incredibly powerful and also incredibly complicated, but you can do a lot with it. There's a reason that CompTIA wants you to know about Wireshark. Not only is it the best darn protocol analyzer out there, it works incredibly well and it's completely free. So, the important thing to appreciate at this point in the game is that you know Wireshark exists, you understand the idea of capturing, and you can play around with the interface a little bit. In later episodes, you're going to be seeing a lot more of Wireshark, but for right now, I'd like you to take some time, do a Google search on Wireshark, download it, and start playing with it. It is so much fun.